darlings. So, today we're going to be customizing this G1 Clawdeen doll to give her a more so prototype-inspired look, especially because of the fact that she's a bit chipped in the eye and a bit wonky.
Oh, who are you?
So, I'm going to bring her a new life while telling you some of my favorite Japanese urban legends. Let's begin. Kuche Sake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman. The yokai herself, Kuche Sake Onna, was around since the 70s. However, her actual time period when she was alive was in the Edo period of Japan. Legend has it that back then, when she was alive, of course, that she was vain, she was boastful, she was beautiful. She always paraded herself around the whole village and said, "Do I look beautiful?" And of course, everyone would always say, "Yes, you do." Of course, she was married. That makes any good story more juicy, I suppose. However, her husband grew to resent this little habit of hers. So much so to the point that he suspected that she was cheating on him. He had come to find out one day that she was right. And when he found this out, he approached her one day, drew his blade, and slit her mouth from one side to the next, and laughed at her, and said to her, "I think I'm ready now." In this fit of fear and anguish that she felt, she ran away and died. Now, her ghost comes back to haunt mortals and ask them one simple question. "Do you think I'm ready now?" If you say yes, she will take off her mask and show you and ask you again, "Do you think I'm pretty?" If you say yes, she will slit your mouth so that it resembles hers, and you'll die the same way she did. Only, you'll never have vengeance for it. But if you say no immediately, she'll just kill you on the spot. But there is another option. You can trick her by saying, "You're so-so." This will confuse her, and you'll have enough time to run. However, I don't recommend running while she's currently talking to you, especially when her prompt comes out for you, because she moves faster than you ever could, and those unlucky enough to be caught within her grasp when she chases them never make it out alive. Teke. The yokai Teke is a very vicious and murderous type of spirit. But before she became what she is today, she used to be a schoolgirl. She had many friends for the wrong reasons, mainly because majorities of them decided to play pranks on her. That was the only reason they kept her around after all, was for the fact that she was a punchline. Sad. Eventually, one day, while she and her friends were hanging in the subway station in Japan, they pulled a prank on her that would cost her her life. They scared her to the point that she tripped and fell into the train tracks, and they were helpless because as soon as she fell in, a barreling train rushed by and slit her in half. Now, when she got sliced in half, she didn't die quickly, no. It was cold, and she was preserved through the frozen. But she felt the agony of the slicing, to the point where she begged and pleaded for mercy and help. And the friends that she saw and the friends that she kept weren't able to help her due to fear of getting in trouble. They were afraid that, they would get caught for being the reason that she's in such a terrible condition now. So they left her to die. And she died there, alone, angry, and full of hatred. Now, she haunts the subways at night, half-bodied, but with very long nails, making sure to chase anyone she finds and make them exactly like her. Half a body for those who have half a mind to avoid her. The tale of Oiwa. Oiwa was a beautiful and devoted wife who was a kind and compassionate soul when she was alive. She was married to a man named Iamon. However, he was not exactly content in his marriage with her, because he was, to put it gently, an awful man. He essentially was not happy because of the fact that they were both impoverished. He longed for a better life because he used to be a samurai. Unfortunately, though, due to his violent nature, he had been let go of that position, I suppose. Not only that, but some legends even put the idea that he stole money from his employers. That's not good. However, the story progresses, and the main headlining part of it that made it a kabuki play is Oiwa's trust and dedication, how it led to her demise. Make no mistake, however, this is not a story to headline the fact that women are weak and awful. It's quite the opposite. It's a cautionary tale to men who never, ever feel like something's enough, to think whatever they have and to count it as a blessing, because if not, things will end badly. One day, Oyo was pregnant and she was talking and eating with her husband. He was very resentful towards her due to the fact that she always acted like nothing was wrong, even though he was broke and so was she. Yet, it never changed any of her views towards him. After all, her love was conditional. One day, while he was out, he met one of his neighbors, a very rich nobleman, and he spoke to them, and he learned that their daughter, his neighbor, had a huge crush on him, and that, hey, you could be rich if you weren't married, but guess not, because you're tied down. And him being, him, he decided to take matters into his own hands and try to murder his own wife. He slipped some poison into her everyday things, especially her medicine, claiming that it was for the baby. No, it wasn't. So, he did that, but instead of dying, she fainted. She became disfigured and suffered awfully. Her eyes became blood red and shot. Her hair fell out, and she became essentially a monster. Yet, despite her looks, she was still as kind and sweet as ever. The same could not be said for her baby. The poison that he slipped within it was the reason that she lost him. Her survival infuriated Yaemon, so he figured out another plan. He whisked her away to the mountainside that they used to love hanging at when they were a happy couple. He claimed that it was just to get better air, to let go of past grievances. Little did she know that past grievance would be her. As Oiwa stepped closer to the edge and enjoyed the view of the mountain, Yaemon stood behind her and pushed her off. And all that could be heard was the screaming as she fell. And then, directly after that, he made wedding arrangements. He scheduled everything, got his new bride ready, prepared himself to be a rich and wealthy nobleman. Well, at least he thought that's how this would go. But after Oiwa's death, she began to haunt him. she began to appear anywhere that he would look. In tapestries, in mirrors, in lanterns, and even in people. Except her purpose behind doing this, one could argue, was not so that she could haunt him, no, so that he could eventually get tormented and lose his sanity and cause something rather graphic. On his wedding day, he never saw her that day, but when he unveiled his new bride, it was Oiwa, and in his sheer insanity, he drew his katana and sliced her head off, only to realize that the madness has caused him to slice his new, rich wife's head off instead of Oiwa. Everyone in attendance was shocked and screamed. He ran for the mountains, afraid of what would happen to him now that his crimes were revealed, especially on public display. As they chased him and as he ran, he felt something watching him. He hadn't seen Oiwa, conveniently for some reason. And then, when all the villagers had gathered and seen him up on the mountain, they saw him fall off and perish. And right there where he stood Oiwa. After all, hell hath no fury, like a bride scorned. Hi darlings, hopefully you enjoyed the scary story and the repaint process. I'm not a professional with my work yet, but I'm getting there. So right now I'm going to be putting her clothes back on, and then you're going to see the finished results. Enjoy.